that I've seen from a young quarterback, and especially after the loss he just had. I was really impressed with some of the questioning and his really detailed and open answers. Sometimes I think we get really accustomed to quarterbacks being like, I learned from the tape on to Cincinnati type of style,
Yeah,
or
right.
it's all on me, whatever. Like, but I felt like he actually showed some vulnerability within his answers, but also, you could see what things maybe scared him. Well, first of all, I'll ask you, how did you feel about the game really quickly, and then how did you catch the press conferences that just happened?
Yes, I did. And what I thought about the game, it just seemed like the game got away from the 49ers pretty quickly. And I think also for Brock Purdy, like the throwing that many interceptions, whether they be fluky or not, I think did affect him as the game kind of went on. It kind of felt like he just was sinking further into quicksand.
Yeah.
It's at one point in the game, even despite some of the first half interceptions, the game was still close. I think we're finding solace in a couple of different things, and people call it coping, whatever you want. But at the end of the day, like I think there are some things that do give me solace in how the game went down. And if the game was played again, I'd feel a little bit better about it. Just 49ers had some bad breaks here and there, but they were able to move the ball pretty well. And I mean, we know Brock Purdy, right? And I think after seeing the press conference and then just some of his answers, we know that he has like the mental fortitude, the maturity to kind of look past this game. I don't want to say look past, but maybe just grow from this game and be able to learn from it.
I actually wanted to ask you about that. I wonder if I think that normally we do expect Brock Purdy to kind of try to be able to flush things. He is so accurate and poised mostly. And I think that was maybe the most concerning part about this game is it really did feel like you could see, and now we're not hypothesizing because he ended up admitting this in his press conference, but you could kind of see him both be hesitant and want to press in
Mm-hmm.
the same time. I think in the game, you noticed him trying to get it all back once they were gone, going for that third. I know that I think Kyle Shanahan said that third interception, he he said that there's reasons for all the interceptions besides the first one. In my opinion, that third one was pretty egregious because it was really similar to that no, 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 yes, Ayuk throw, where he was taking a deeper shot, but the guy was clearly covered. And there was a crossing route that ended up being open right ahead of that. And Brock Purdy, in his press conference, did say he got into this mindset like, we're down. I need to make not only a positive play, but I need to make a big play because I need to score quickly. We need to make splashes. And he really got in that mindset. I think it was Eric Branch asked him, while having that mindset, were you also worried then about, okay, I need to be aggressive, but also I don't want to throw another pick? And he said, yeah. And he admitted, he said, I was not in the right headspace. And I do wonder if Kyle Shanahan noticed this after his stinger and if that was part of the reason he was taken out. Was Brock Purdy himself admitted that he was in a conundrum of his head of, I need to make a big play and prove to myself that I can, bring us back. But also, if I throw another interception, what does this mean for me on this stage? And he even admitted that going into the game, he did hear the chatter. He did know it was a big game. He did know this could be an MVP cementing type game. This has first seed implications for this team. When asked about Nick Bosa kind of having his back, he took a deep sigh, and that made me reflect back to that NFC Championship game when he really put pressure on himself for the responsibility he has to this team of kind of veterans. And I felt like you could really hear that in his voice. I really appreciated the vulnerability, and I do hope that he learns from it. But I wonder, I'm going to ask you, are you worried if Brock Purdy goes in first quarter? I know it's the Commanders, so maybe this isn't a good example, but in the playoffs or something, let's say, and throws an interception right away. Are you worried that, that could be in his head? Because it did seem like, and maybe it's just because of how many there were, because we've seen him flush it before, but it seemed like in this scenario, he was not able to flush it.
Yeah, I think the concern for me comes from like this somewhat being a pattern, and not specifically like the interceptions and him not being able to bounce back, because you're right, we have seen that, and I think he's shown the ability he could do that. I'm not worried about that at all. In this game, like I said, it kind of got away from them because with each interception, you could see, and I'm sure, yeah, Kyle Shanahan did see, like he was trying to do too much, but also not at the same time. So like those are two very conflicting things. So that's going to change the way you play, obviously. But I think the pattern that I've seen in the 49ers losses, and particularly in the games where the 49ers have played really tough defenses, you look back at the game against the Browns where he fumbled a few times. There were some turnovers in that game. And even in the losing streak, it felt like Brock Purdy was trying to put too much on his own shoulders, trying to be the hero in those games. And in those games, like it's kind of a theme. Like you see him kind of lose his way a little bit when he's trying to do too much. And I don't know, it kind of has the team regress a little bit because of that, and he's not really executing the offense at that point because I don't know, maybe he's in his head a little bit. So that's the theme, that's the pattern I've noticed that I'm a little worried about going forward. Now, I do really appreciate the fact that he seems to be very self-reflective and introspective of what went down in that game and how he kind of was feeling about it, how he reacted to it, and how maybe that wasn't the right approach. So he's very self-aware. And so that's a strength too, because I don't think a lot of people are self-aware to really know in the moment or even
Especially that
afterward.
young, just had a
That
birthday and
young, he just
doesn't
turned
know he's
24,
24.
right? So yeah, I mean that is a gift that he has, right? But at the end of the day, he does have to actually apply what he's learned, right? So at some point, we're gonna see Brock Purdy throw an interception, maybe two again. It's not gonna be his last multi-interception game, because every quarterback has those. And, we're going to see whether he's going to try to do too much to get themselves out of it, or if he's just going to keep on keeping on and try to execute the game plan. Because if you execute the game plan like Kyle Shanahan has
He'll
it
get
all
back
planned
in the
out,
game.
the game will come to you. Like it's going to work itself out.
Even
And so
with
I
that
think he
many
needs to learn that.
interceptions, they were like, it felt,
It was
I don't
it was
know.
close still. It was
It
close at
felt
one
like
point.
to
Yeah.
me, literally until Sam Darnold threw a pick, I thought that the 49ers could come back. Specifically in that, I mean, I think the turning point was that third quarter where you were like,
Yes.
this game might just be done. So maybe
Mhm.
maybe the faith past that third quarter was a little bit of my fandom. But at least until there, I mean, the defense did a wonderful job at minimizing the points scored off of those turnovers up until that third half or that third quarter. Now, I'm wondering, people kind of, when the 49ers beat the Eagles kind of have crumbled since then. I know that they just won against the Giants, but they went down to the wire with the Giants and they've been um, humiliated, which I feel like I'm allowed to say because the 49ers were just humiliated too. So ever since the 49ers kind of put the book out on Jalen Hurts, which is something that Nick Bosa said in
Mhm.
his post-game press conference or locker room press conference after that. He said, I put the book out on Jalen Hurts. This is how we beat him. Cowboys, pay attention. Now, do you think that the book is out on Brock Purdy? Do you think that the Ravens did something particular that caused him to throw these interceptions, that caused him to be so rattled, that caused the 49ers to struggle so much? Or did you see it as maybe just a really amped up Brock Purdy? Like, do you think that this was more the 49ers / Brock Purdy beating themselves